Bitwise employees have still not been made whole. They are still very much in the red. No one has gotten any of their bounced paychecks reimbursed, any of their bank fees reimbursed, any of the above.
1 year later, Action News examines the rise and fall of Bitwise Industries. While some employees are thriving, others are still working to recover from the company's sudden collapse. As the criminal court case continues for the founders, some are still hoping the Fresno technology scene will rise from the ashes.
On May 29, 2023, Bitwise co-founders and co-CEOs Jake Soberall and Irma Olguin Jr. told their 900 employees they would be furloughed, effective immediately. But they would never return. On June 7th, several employees filed a class action lawsuit against the company for not properly notifying workers about those layoffs. Then by mid-June, all employees were let go. On June 28th, the company filed for Chapter 7 liquidation bankruptcy. And after months of uncertainty, on November 9th, federal investigators charged Olguin and Soberall with a $100 million fraud scheme. Action News reporter Brianna Willis joins us live from the live desk with where the legal cases stand and how former workers are coping with the fallout 1 year later. Brianna?
Well, Margot, there are still employees 1 year later that are struggling to make ends meet. Derek Payton, however, was lucky he was able to quickly find work and is now working to keep the high-tech dream alive in the city of Fresno. The once buzzing Bitwise Industries is now physically gone across Fresno. The buildings that once had their names continue to stand tall, but without the tech company's name. 1 year ago, Bitwise employees received notice that they will all be furloughed, but they would never return to their jobs. One of those employees was Derek Payton, who worked as a software developer.
There was a lot of anxiety, but also a bit of hope at that time in those first probably 12 to 24 hours.
Payton says he quickly got a full-time job as a director of technology with the Central California Asthma Collaborative. He has also continued his other business, Root Access Hackerspace, which provides access to 3D printers and laser cutters. They're working to continue the mission of growing the tech hub in the city of Fresno.
Bitwise is gone, but that vision of what they wanted to build, it doesn't die unless we let it. And so that's one of the things that Root Access is all about, is just having a cool technology scene.
While Payton landed on his feet after the fallout, others were not as lucky.
In fact, just yesterday, my office received a call from an individual whose unemployment ran out, and being able to renew it is a kind of a difficult process.
Assemblyman Jim Patterson has helped secure Beyond Bitwise funding in partnership with other organizations and continues to help those still struggling. Roger Banakdar, the attorney representing hundreds of clients in a class action lawsuit, says many of his clients still feel the impact of suddenly losing their jobs.
I can tell you that folks had their cars nearly repossessed. They got 3-day notices and nearly lost their homes. I spoke to one of my clients. His health insurance had not been paid for, and when he had taken his son to the doctor because he broke his leg, found out that way that there's no insurance coverage while at the ER for an injured child.
1 year later, the criminal court case continues for Bitwise co-founders and former CEOs Jake Soberall and Irma Olguin Jr. Banakdar and Assemblyman Patterson hope for accountability for the lives turned upside down.
I think, for one, based on the sequence of events in the case and what has happened in the felony case, that there's probably a deal worked out.
And I don't think it would be fair or just for these two to get some kind of a plea bargain. They need some jail time.
I also spoke with the company that now owns the Bitwise buildings. They say they quickly filled the spaces, and downtown Fresno continues to thrive. Their former CEOs are due back in court for their federal case July 18th. At the live desk, Brianna Willis, ABC 30 Action News.